We have now modelled the body of the car, the rear suspension and the front pivot or steering area. I've turned off the visibility of the doors and the rest of the interior. Let's turn those back on and see how we modelled those. There are two seats in the vehicle, one for the driver and one for the passenger. The driver's seat is a solid seat, whereas the passenger seat folds forward. This gives us the ability to store more in the rear of the vehicle. Let's have a look at how we modelled those. For the driver's seat, I actually used a command called the sweep command. For the sweep command, we need a profile and a path. Let's edit that and see what the profile is. So the profile is a rectangle, and then in a separate sketch I created the path. I also added a taper of -1 degree. So in top view, we can see the effect of that taper. Now I want to smooth that out just a little bit, so I'm going to use a workflow that I've used a few times in this particular project. That is, I'm going to create a surface and then use the split command. So I created a sketch using the spline command, and then created a surface from that. Using the split command, I split off the part that's closest to me in the direction of the arrow. I then used save copy as, and from the seat file I created seat upper. So we're going to create the passenger seat in two parts, and that's why I had to do that. Moving the end of part up below split, we can see that that's the original seat, and then moving it down, you can see how I created this. So what I did was, using the split command again, I split off the bottom of the seat using that particular sketch, and then I created an extrusion, and this will be the area that allows it to pivot around the lower half of the seat. So the bottom half of the seat is kind of the reverse of that. This time I split off the top half of the seat, and then I added a feature which allows again it to pivot on the top half of the seat. For the driver's door, similar workflow what we did for the windshield. Using save copy as, I saved the car body and deleted everything up to extrusion 1. Then using the intersect operation under extrude, I was able to create a model of the door only. Having created both doors, I now want to change the model so that it's only the front door. So again, I used some extrusions. I cut that out to represent the front door and added a space for the window. Passenger door was very similar workflow. Save copy as all the way back to extrusion 1, except this time instead of creating the front of the door, I'm creating the back of the door. So I'm going to be splitting off or creating different parts of that door, and here you can see that. And just as I did with the front door, I'm going to create the curves and the window. Back in the assembly, I'm going to turn on the visibility of the doors. I brought the doors into the assembly and added a couple of constraints. I also want the doors to be able to move, so in this particular case I added 2 mate constraints. And when I go back over to the door, you can see that it actually does swing open. And that would also occur for the back door or the passenger door as well. And I'm going to turn on the visibility of the remaining features. And this is now the completed vehicle. I've added symbols to the front, so you can create your own custom symbols and attach those to the front of the car. And at the back of the car, we need space for luggage. So I have a flap on there. And it's also on the inside I've created a little shelf, and that creates more storage space.